also have to inspire people. The entire.
Okay.
Good point.
Yeah. You also have to lead by example. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Walk the talk.
Yes. Oo.
Okay.
Kahit na magaling ka na executive, no? Mayroon ka talagang area because of the immense bureaucracy of the Philippine government na you will know very little about. And therefore, kailangan you will be dependent on experts. Hindi ba? So, you must have the ability to make sure that you put the people who are the right officials for that particular office. Kasi, ang ginagawa ng Pangulo natin ngayon, because of their election to a political process or electoral process that talagang that is very, very flawed, once you get into office, yung appointments mo will not be based on competence. It will be based on paying off political debts. This is my built-in strength. Wala akong political debts. I go directly to the people. I do
Wala
not
kang bagahe.
Wala akong bagahe. I do not represent any vested interest. You see? And I just really want to offer more than my executive expertise to...
So you have... You're saying immediately, even as you began to address my questions, you do have the same executive prowess.
Exactly.
And you can prove it, and it's done. It's not like you're saying it.
Exactly.
I've done it, been there, and done that.
Exactly.
So as markings are concerned, I have the grade.
Yes.
But the difference is, wala kang bagahe.
Yes, wala akong bagahe.
Good
But
point.
again,
I like that.
pitted against, for instance,
Good point.
individuals like...
And you're not a politician.
And I'm not a politician. Ang napakahalaga sa lahat, Hill at Harry, is that meron kang paninindigan. You see, I was chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission while I was the big boss of the SEC and the corporate world. I was not the highest official of the land. But when a president tells me to do something that I felt was wrong,
You stood up for
I stood up dahil sa paninindigan ko anong tama. Yan din kailangan natin ng leader Yan din kailangan ng presidente. Dahil mahirap yung sinasabi ko rin na you lead by example. Minsan, you are tempted because of the vested interest groups that put you in office. Ay naku, napakahirap yan. Yung bagahe mo, you have to pay your debts. Sinasabi nga nila unang-una, the first year of your when you sit in office is yung sumuporta sa iyo, yung tumulong sa iyo, yun ang upat. Ngayon yung mga senatorial candidates mo na maski na hindi competent basta't ilalagay mo sa yung mga yan ang napakabigat. This is the kind of system that we have to change. Marami nagsasabi, ito na yung tunay na pagbabago. But let me ask you the details. How are you going to do that? When you get into the office, because of the rotten system. Wala kang paninindigan You get to this, you have to win because of the promises of people. You represent the big business.
That's correct. That's correct.
So anong gagawin mo? Anong klaseng pagbabago ang ino-offer mo? Sasabihin mo, bibigyan mo yung taong bayan ng jobs. You give them jobs. I tell you, even if you're able to put all of the jobless Filipinos now to jobs, they will still live below the poverty line.
Okay, let me go into one specific thing, and that's production and productivity.
All right.
We have a total of 30 million hectares in the country, you know, and there are plenty of land, really, that are lying idle. How are you going to make those people who own this land, force them to make that land produce? Because an idle land means nothing. It's a waste. It's not doing anything for
No
people.
productivity.
No, there are those. You just fly over the Philippines, going from here, go to Taiwan, go to Tokyo, to Japan. You'll find that out, And specifically, if you fly by chopper, from here all the way to Tuguegarao only, then you see it really how much widest of the land that we have that are not producing. How are you going to do that?
Alam mo, Gil,
Force them.
This is one area where the leader, the president, must be able to even take such painful steps, in making sure that what is being done along this line is the right thing. One of my biggest disappointment is that our comprehensive agrarian reform code or policy has been based simply on the distribution of land.
Not production.
It has never been predicated on land productivity. Maximizing the produce of that land. Ginawa natin yan for political expediency. Bibigyan lang tayo ng land for the land. But we overlook and disregarded the more important step in land distribution is to empower and enable those distributees to be able to maximize production. You divide big landed estates into small ones, pero hindi mo sila bibigyan ng oportunidad, ng pera, ng capability to make the rice, let's say planting of rice more productive. Masisira ang land reform program mo. So I want that revisited. To begin with, I am not too sure. I'm not too sure whether, dahil wala tayong pera whether we should encourage individual land holdings on small, because you divide the ability to really make the land more viable in terms of maximizing production. You know, you will have to depend on unmechanized farming dahil kaya lang ng mga tao ay karabaw, wala mechanized farming, ay yung cost na lang ng fertilizers napaka ano. So I'd like to look at revisit that. My offhand idea is that maybe perhaps we should go into land distribution by first coming up with an initial stage where land ownership does not become permanent.
Yeah, like Cuba, no?
Yeah, it must be done on a deserving basis. Yeah, maybe perhaps
Production.
Tingnan mo, and you should not give land to the landless when if you give the land, the next best thing that he'll have to do is to sell the land dahil wala siyang pera.
Wala siyang pera.
Hindi ba? Otherwise, sasama yung big landed owner noon na binigyan niya yung lupa niya thinking that, you know, this policy of government will be good. And I would like to see whether in fact corporate land holdings will be better where the tenant farmer will be able to be part of the wealth creation in so far as cultivating the land.
He has to be funded and capitalized.
And be assured of income.
And be assured of income.
May
Dapat ganun eh. This should be the kind. When Taiwan, for instance, went into land reform, nakikita mo that the big landed estates said, including Japan, hey, sige, ibibigay na namin itong lupa sa inyo. Okay? We will also fund you.
Yun ang
diba?
importante.
We will also fund you. Pero itong arrangement natin, you sell only to us.
Siyempre.
Yeah.
Diba?
But in Taiwan, what they did was they converted the landlords into shareholders of corporations.
Right.
But yun ang sinasabi ni Noy Noy. Hindi naman
but don't follow that eh. The experience of Taiwan cannot be just duplicated here.
Yes.
You look, you know, to me, I won't say this as any criticism to anyone, but I had been chairman of the SEC, that's why I know where I'm speaking, no? Sinasabi natin na the land reform spirit of CARP was achieved by way of the land reform of Luisita. All right?
No way.
Okay.
I don't
no
believe
way.
that.
No way. It's just like our
well, after
present...
17 dead, maybe, no?
Yeah. Alam mo bakit? It's only in the Philippines where you have so-called publicly held companies or corporations that are not in fact publicly held. The public component is only 20%. The rest will still be owned by the families and big business. Boy, you just have to look at this also. So it's not easy, you know, for one to just talk about a land reform, ganitong gagawin nila. All the owner will do is not declare dividends. Eh, paano naman kikita yun?
Carl.
Sa mga babalik ka rin mo ngayon yun.
Babalik na rin natin yun.
Ang mas madaming holdings, madaming public participation, yung public.
Exactly.
Yung farmers.
Yan ang sinasabi natin. When I started that reform of the SEC, because I noticed it immediately. Sabi ko, wow, 20% lang ibibigay mo. Yung land, yung owner ng korporasyon will still own at least 40% or 35% in time.
Mali.
Para bang ginamit mo lang yung pera ng taong bayan, hard-earned money, para you raise capital when in fact, hindi mo sila natutulungan. You do not really
para ka nag-IPO pero sa iyo lang pumunta.
Sa iyo lang pumunta.
Ikaw pa rin nagko-call.
Yun ang talagang titignan natin.
To go further, okay, you're obviously open to tinkering with the charter to improve it. Okay. Should you get the opportunity to tinker with the charter, what we is commonly known, perceived as charter change, how do you propose to control the greedy politicians who want to extend their terms, who want to become ampatuan, who want to get more arms, who want to get a bigger budget, and wants to keep wants to keep the budgets under lump sum, not itemized, para hindi makita ng COA, to continue the corruption and the happy days where their accounts grow bigger and bigger. How do you propose to control these warlords today? Kasi ang dami niyan, ha? It's not only in Mindanao. After hearing the joint session the last 2 days, we have come to the reality after this massacre that they are all around us. You need not go to Mindanao, Maguindanao. No, it's